Hello there, I'm Gary Foster and welcome back to What Price Victory. This is episode 19 of the series, and this particular episode will feature the grand final of the A-League season between Melbourne Victory. We're away to Western Sydney Wanderers. As I mentioned, the grand final, which is the final day and arguably the biggest game on the in the Australian A-League calendar. The little anomaly that we do have is that the game is being played at Western Sydney Wanderers' home ground, which isn't necessarily what would happen in real life if a Sydney team got to the grand final as the higher ranked team. It'd be played at the Olympic Stadium, where there's a capacity of around about 80,000 people, whereas at the Western Sydney Stadium their capacity is around about 30,000. But anyway, that's the vagaries of the system, and we can deal with that, I'm sure. This will be the team that'll be taking the field in the grand final. You can see that Crocombe is our new goalkeeper. Matthew Acton, who's been ever present so far this year, injured himself in training, so Crocombe is coming in for what is his first game of the season and in a grand final, which puts a little bit of added pressure on him. Traore, Sporanovic, Ansell and Shotton are our defenders. Roxham, Barnett and Brimmer are our midfield. Rojas and Italiano are our wide attacking players, and Gastide is up front. I'll just change that to a more supportive role, and with Broxham I'll change that to a more defensive role. Okay, so with those players selected, let's go and play the grand final. Right, so just confirmation that this game will be played at Western Sydney Stadium. Wanderers with a very strong lineup, with lots of attacking prowess up front. But we'll do our best and we'll see what we can do. So I think we'll be calm. We don't have to tell them that this is a big match. Don't know why we're huge underdogs. Why don't we just go and see if we can keep our run going? Okay, so basically that highlight started with a shot fizzing past our post, so not quite sure what the build up to that was. Okay, so Victory bringing the ball out deep. Brimmer with a bit of space. Poor option. Williams on the ball, who's got a little bit of pace about him. Keep him out of the box. Oh, hits the crossbar. And Traore clears the ball. Okay, that's the first shot in a real threat on the Victory goal. A little bit of encouragement around about now. Fired up by the feedback, but it seems that the Wanderers are the ones with most of the possession and certainly doing all the attacking. And as I said, this is the penultimate game in the or the ultimate game in the A-League calendar. It's the final game. Italiano wide with a dinky little shot from Gastide, doesn't get through. So this is the final game of the A-League season. So after this grand final, I'll do a post-season wrap as Wanderers look to threaten our goal. But the pre-season is going to be very short. Pre-season is going to be very short because there's some AFC Championship games coming up in about a fortnight's time. So The 20th episode will probably kick off in game time in about 2 weeks. So another one that hits the post. Okay, Crocom's leading, having a charmed life in goal. Giving away possession. We're immediately under pressure all the time. Ooh. Right. Oh, okay. Italiano passes it to one of his family in row Z. Right, so a lot of highlights that are showing Wanderers on the offensive. So I think the episode that I did for the previous season included the grand final that went to extra time and penalties, so it was quite a long episode. So this will be basically a one game save. Do a little bit more of encouragement. Traore and Italiano combining. Now Brimmer, who hasn't had a great game. Surprised at how many times we receive our ball, or a ball with our back to goal. I mean, pass in front as much as what I'd like them to do. Maybe that pass into space. Maybe that's the better option to have. So Italiano, Brimmer, Barnett. Oh, cracks it in. Barnett. Only his second goal, I think, of the season. But he didn't want to run too far from that. He cracked it in from the edge of the box. So that was rather a surprise. Yeah, I just talked myself out of... I've talked myself into why they do a lot of that with their back to goal, because I've got it work the ball into box rather than pass into space. So if they pass it into space, they're running onto it, aren't they? So, food for thought. Maybe praise now? No, can't give them any praise. Okay, so half time. So what do? Do I tell them to, pardon me, keep going? Played well, but there's still room for improvement. Most of those ratings tend to indicate praise. Okay, keep it up. I'm delighted. Let's be delighted. Be rather 1-0 up than 1-0 down. But the thing is to hold Wanderers at bay. Crocombe with a short kick. Okay, Shotton. He's had fitness issues of late, but he seems to be holding out okay. Annoyed. Would have been much more better passes on option rather than that floated cross out to the right. Okay, so all the white shirts are back, although there's a lot of Wanderers players here with a lot of space. Okay, deflection to Williams. It could be dangerous, just wide. Okay, so Brimmer. I've got Haraj on the bench to come on for him, but I'd like to squeeze as many minutes out of him as I can, since he's playing so well. Brimmer and Broxham lose the ball there, gosh, and immediately they're on the attack. And here we go, on the far post to Beanie. Very frustrating when you see that. Yeah, Brimmer. Immediately on the attack, and Shotton gets drawn over. I mean, we had 4 players drifting over towards Therese there. Yeah, you'd be berating your defence with giving a ball away like, or conceding a goal like that, because they left the keeper so exposed. Now we need to demand more. I'm not surprised, Brimmer. So many shorter options, and they do that long ball out to the wing. Okay. So Gestede, who hasn't had his goal-scoring boots on like he did last year, which has been a shame because we relied on those goals. But Rojas drives into the box, and Italiano with a great header. Okay. Little spark of brilliance there. I'm holding off just in case this does go into extra time. Ooh, one of our players got flattened. What? No, one of our players got flattened there. So anyway, nothing's come of it. Not quite sure what that was all about. Yes, I know Brimmer's running on empty. If I can get him up to the 85th minute. Right. It's got this impending thought that I know you could make an extra sub in during extra time, but I'll bring Haraj on for Brimmer. Do I go with fresh legs up front? Kimsoba, Rojas. See, they've all played. Italiano hasn't though, has he? Apart from that one good header. Bring Kimsoba on for Italiano. And Laurie Latanzio for Gestede. So, triple sub with 5 minutes to go. Might even give a team talk. Go out there and make a difference. Okay, so here is the point where we don't concede. No highlights. I think the only highlight in its second half was Italiano's header and the XG says that we've been outplayed, which is hard to argue. But let's pump fists. Are we the better team here? We're not. I'm not very pleased. Pump fists. Do what you've been doing. Not really happy with that option, but we'll see how we go. Now we can make another substitution during extra time. So Kimsoba on the ball, dinks into the area. Ooh, can't get it around the keeper. Can't get it around the keeper. Do we give them praise? Let's not praise them just yet, in case this highlight turns to custard. Lots of room out here. Gosh. Drives into the area, across to the far posts. Abini with a header. Usually we've been quite good at defensive crosses and heading. Well, but we certainly came unglued there. So Abini with the ball. So I'm thinking that Rojas... Oh, I can't make another substitution. What? Damn. How bizarre. I thought sure as heck you can make an extra sub during extra time. Okay, well all these boys are going to be running out of petrol or diesel. Demand more. We just need a goal, guys. Just need a goal. "27 shots by Wanderers. Good grief." Okay. And there we have it. Wanderers are the winners. 2-1 in extra time. So I guess they've been the premier team all year. So for them to win was not unexpected. Although Victory did acquit themselves quite well. So yeah, okay. We'll leave them to their victory lap. Continue with please. I think we just can't fault them. It was just one of those days. And there they do. They're having their little victory march. So for the second year in a row, Victory make it to the big dance at the end of the year, and are left holding the bouquet. So not quite the brides. They gamed up with the bridesmaids. Anyway, that's a Victory wrap. There's a little bit of admin here to do, and I'll see what type of what aspects I should cover in the post-season wrap, and I'll just give you a bit of a heads up on the draw that's coming up in the for the Asian Football Championship. So the next couple of episodes are going to be a little bit disjointed because they're in our pre-season. So look, thank you very much for watching this episode. I'm disappointed that Victory couldn't get the biscuits on the big day, but I'll come back after this with a short wrap, and we'll see you then. Okay, so here's a little bit of the post-season wrap. It's confirmation that Matthew Acton was named as the A-League goalkeeper of the year. He did put in quite a number of creditable performances, and keeping 11 clean sheets in 25 games was pretty good. It's just unfortunate that he got injured in the week before the grand final. Carl Robinson, the Wanderers coach, he was named manager of the year, and I ended up in third position. So I'm not quite sure how Adelar pipped me at the post, where I had a better win ratio, but he pipped me on the manager's points. But anyway, que sera. So well done, Franz. The Melbourne Victory players who were named in the A-League All-Star 11. No surprise that Acton was in goal. Nick Ansell, our central defender, and Rojas, who will be leaving us shortly. So you can just tell that he's going to be a big loss. And the other most of the other players were dominated by Western Sydney Wanderers. Our Melbourne Victory named in the PFA A-League Team of the Season. Once again, Acton, Ansell and Rojas, of course. Now, that probably... I'll just do a quick recap, just go back to the competitions and the A-League regular season. You can see that Victory finished in second position, albeit 5 points behind Western Sydney Wanderers. They wrapped the comp up pretty convincingly and pretty early. All in all, look, I don't think it was a bad season for us. Certainly finishing second gives us some qualifying matches in the AFC Championship. So there's that commitment as well. I've got a little bit of admin to do with transfers because there's a number of contracts that I'm not extending, and they're coming up for renewal on the 30th of June. So I've got a little bit of admin to do there. So I think we'll make that a wrap for this particular episode. And we'll come back for the next Asian Football Championship game, which I think is coming up in about 2 weeks' time. So, week and a half's time, against Bangkok United. Now, they're from Thailand, and the Thai teams are not traditionally powerhouses, so I'm quietly confident that we can get a result to get past Bangkok United, and if we do, we'll be in with the big teams from Saudi Arabia and the J-League. So, okay, so this is something that came into my inbox unexpectedly, just the A-League review, where we know that Western Sydney Wanderers completed the double, and Bernie Abini was probably the player of the year. The Melbourne Victory players, Jacob Italiano, inducted into the overall best 11, which I find extremely hard to believe, considering that he didn't play all that well for us. As you can see, he only had an average rating of 6.78, and I mean, Louis Latenzio played a bit part role. Haraj was very ordinary during the year, and so Nishikawa, he lost his place to Adam Traore as soon as he came back from injury. So it's quite a strange collection of names to be inducted into the overall Hall of Fame. Anyway, I'm sort of scratching my head about that. The end of season awards, Nick Ansell was the fans player of the season, followed by Rojas and Acton. Laurie Latenzio, he scored the goal of the season against Perth Glory. I'll have a quick look at that. So Sporanovic on the ball, headed on by Lawton. Latenzio gets the ball and deft little touch in. So yeah, that was a good goal and put us ahead in that particular game. Number of rule changes for the A-League, which I won't bore you with. I mean, they're very, very subtle changes, and the club's going to meet. So we'll just briefly attend that meeting. Great idea, benefits of going forward. Yep. Competition expectation review. To be competitive in the Asian Champions League, with FFA Cup not important, and to finish in the top half of the A-League. So if we finish in the top half of the A-League, we should almost be guaranteed a playoff in the semi. So the fact that we came first in the previous year and second this year, that's not a problem. Just before we go to that Asian Championship game, this is just a neat little parcel of the restrictions that are applicable to players and clubs in the A-League. So you can see that the squad must have no more than 23 players, and the 5 foreign player restriction. 2 goalkeepers must be in the squad with 1 goalkeeper on the bench. This is probably the biggest one here, which is the total salary of the squad, and that's excluding players on a designated contract, must be less than $62,000 a week. So that's probably a lot less than some of the individual salaries of some of the overseas stars. And there can be no more than 2 players on a designated contract, 3 players in an under-23 squad, and also the squad must have at least 3 domestic under-23 players as well. So that's just a little brief snapshot of the rules that are applicable to the A-League players. So with that, we'll make it a wrap. I'm Gary Foster. Thank you very much for watching this episode of What Price Victory, and we'll catch up with you shortly. All the best now.